to Croatia, to Serbia, Bosnia or Hungary. A lot of artists want to move to Vienna because it's so established and so good environment. On the other hand, Paris, London, of course, some bigger cities also try to gain some attention from the art world. So how could you define what is the position of Vienna in general in the art world?
Vienna in terms of diverse aspects of history was a center of the whole region. Obviously, like Austro-Hungarian monarchy and etc. But in terms of contemporary arts, it made several milestones which have a global significance or even are globally pioneering. For example, speaking about the house and the institution of the Viennese secession, brought to the typology of the art institution's so-called white cube, which was an architectural concept following needs of new media or new production of artistic production at the end of 19th century. Exchange between, for example, artistic community and environment of medicine, especially medical university. Also, Vienna is known as a founder of contemporary science in medicine. So, and then obviously the exchange between a newborn psychology or psychoanalysis with Sigmund Freud and other things. And also styles, like the really a crucial contribution to Jugendstil, which is called Art Nouveau in French and modern style in English. So this is something what is the foundation and what is still kind of like a living history. Then later on, obviously in like 60s and 70s, a contribution of Viennese actionism to the whole aspect of performativity in arts is something what is irreplaceable. There you can also find aspects of emancipation, of queerness and other like aspects which we discuss these days. And in comparison to Bratislava or Budapest, Vienna is a true multicultural city. So, I mean, half of the city was built by Czechs and Polish people, and goulash is one of the main dishes, etc., etc. So it is logical also that and market is functioning, like art market is functioning here with all of its levels, like all variety of collections, well-working business of private galleries, like commercial galleries, museums, institutions. This is something what is obviously a magnet for artistic communities. So.
And how could you describe a little bit more the contemporary scene? I mean, for example, in Paris or in Paris, London, in that area, there are a lot of artist-run spaces, and institutions try to get closer to the viewer, to the visitors, and I think historically the galleries try to attract the collectors. And how would Vienna Contemporary be the bridge between these two?
You know, like people who know me, they know that I'm quite a strict enemy of this metaphor of the bridge. Because the bridge, it means that there is some abyss or, you know, at least some hole. But we are all flatland, huh? So it's more highways. It's more what we know since the era of Orient Express, you know. It is about mobility, so it's not only like east and west, it's also south and north, which is getting more and more important these days. So Vienna is historically, like infrastructurally, a true crossroad, very true crossroad. Like back to this like contribution of let's say, you know, masons from all around, like the route between Poland and I mean, you know, Poland and Austria was always extremely dynamic in that sense. We are not building bridges. We are trying to, at the first, to use existing routes, and these routes are ancient, you know. Still, many of these like ancient routes, they have a very solid foundation. So we are trying maybe to excavate a little bit, you know. So it's also an archaeological or like a modern archaeological approach, and vitalize these flows. So this is, I think, also the role of Viennacontemporary, which itself is a multicultural entity, because members of our team are from all around, from Belarus, Hungary, Ukraine, you know, so Russia, but also West. Like we have French people around us, we have people based in London. So this is what we would like to do, like to at the first to gather knowledge. Which is both like, you know, knowledge of like art history and etc. arts, but also knowledge in terms of having personal connections to particular territories and particular representatives of those territories, and then to vitalize these flows and then bringing people together.
For us, I mean, for Hungary and for the eastern part, sometimes Vienna is the most, you know, established word. But there are other tendencies, like for example, ESSR was just closed, and of course, because of the COVID, it's even more difficult, probably.
Regarding the artist, that Vienna is a very, very important place as a melting pot, and then for equally for artists who are coming here and they can find opportunities at any level in Vienna, whether they are studying here or they are improving or joining a gallery. Boris mentioned we are not so much a bridge. I see it like more a roundabout, that where we can all the directions there is way in and out, and this is the most important message of Viennacontemporary, I think. And they are not only showcasing art but preserving these roots, what we have in Central Eastern Europe and the neighboring countries. I think this is our most important role, and this is also a responsibility.
You know, stability is a very important foundation, but we are trying to be stable to allow dynamics. You know, foundation is only the plinth, but the sculpture on the top of it is kinetic. And this is something not to be forgotten. Viennacontemporary is now changing in its interior, let's say, because we are a stable company, but we are heading to progress. So we would like to be changed again and again on everyday basis and getting better. So that's the point of stability.
The last time I came to Viennacontemporary, there were a lot of panel discussions. I don't know if you plan something more to gain the attention of just a normal visitor who doesn't really know much about art or not an art historian.
We have lots of programs. There are also talks. Boris is responsibility, and he invites wonderful speakers to these talks every afternoon during the fair days. My team's responsibility is more to find the audience, and then to bring in and open to other places and invite guests from beyond the borders of Austria and Europe. This is what we are working on. We provide really high quality programs and trying to attract and to be successful.
I just saw that you go to another building this year. Why it's happening?
Our main ambition already some years ago was to go to the center, to be an integral part of the municipal life, and also to have to be physically closer to galleries, so our guests can walk not only our fair, but also we can do extensive guided tours all around, and to contribute to kind of like a wider urban society aspects. So that was the decision. So we have decided to take over, and we are happy that it was possible. A place which is called Kursalon, and it's a ballroom from the end of 19th century, in a neo-Renaissance style in one of the main parks, which is called Stadtpark. So to us, the fair is happening in the house, but also all around. So it's surrounded by picnics and debates and summer school for students. So it's kind of, we can say it's a festival, but nevertheless we are concentrated in selling, because art fair is for selling arts. And something what I always find important to underline is that at the end of the day 50% of the income goes to artists. So to us this, like, you know, final point of the whole process is also very important. So to not necessarily to be concentrated on creating like wealth as a certain, you know, object of growth, but also to contribute to the well-being of the whole artistic community.
Okay, and if I say that okay, it's nice, but maybe Western art is more, I mean, let's say valuable, it's not the right word, but you know, the prices may remain higher maybe than, you know, the artists from that area. What can you say for that?
Well, I think we are in connection many institutions in the Western world as well, and then many galleries. We have galleries participating from other countries as well. But Boris knows it. He is in charge and in touch with all these galleries, and. Of course, we can also direct to the clients into that direction, and the galleries who are participating have a very wide variety of selection of artists, really established high quality artists to the emerging artists. We have also an emerging artist, emerging part at Vienna Contemporary.
Yes. I will slightly disagree with this like West thingy, because we as former East Bloc countries, we have experienced 1990s as a period of like a rediscovery from the West part. So now we can really compare prices of, for example, I don't know, Mladen Stilinovic or Jon Grigorescu in 95 and now, or from Slovakia, Maria Bartusova. So Maria Bartusova is these days not affordable at all. It's like, it's gone, you know. So the growth and like re-evaluation can also, is not very much related like to territorial aspects, like that the prize is made in Paris, you know. Or if it's made in Paris, it doesn't mean that it's made with French artists. It can be Hungarian, it can be Slovenian artist. But there are many factors like how these things are, you know, happening. There are loads of processual things, and there is like a lot of institutional work on that. And definitely one, you know, chain in, you know, one part of the whole chain is also art fairs. Potentiality and great artists are all around in Macedonia, Ukraine, you know, Bulgaria. It's not a thing of the West. And also, as we know it from our territory, wealthy people are not only in the West. Like some of the most wealthiest people in Europe actually are coming from the East. So I will be very careful about this, like to worship West. It's like very, it's a question of past. It's a question of like pre-Iron Curtain conditions.
Julius Koller.
Julius Koller.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.